Have you ever felt an invisible pull to step into a role greater than yourself? A moment where you knew that your words, your actions, or even your presence could profoundly shape someone's life? What if that feeling wasn't just your imagination, but a divine calling placed within you by God? These aren't just passing thoughts. There are moments when the sacred brushes against the ordinary, whispering a truth so profound that it cannot be ignored. Throughout history, God has chosen individuals to rise up, not only as messengers, but as guardians, leaders, and protectors of others. From the prophets of old to modern believers, this calling has been consistent: to guide, to shield, and to stand firm in faith for the sake of others. What if that calling is alive within you? What if you are among God's chosen ones, equipped with gifts and insights that are waiting to be unlocked? Imagine the lives you could touch, the paths you could illuminate, and the burdens you could help carry by stepping into this divine role. In this video, we are going to explore the depths of this calling. Together, we'll uncover what it means to recognize your prophetic potential and how to discern the signs that God is speaking through you. We'll look at the tools He has provided: spiritual discernment, courage, and wisdom, and how they empower you to guide and protect those around you. And we'll discuss the courage it takes to embrace this sacred responsibility fully. But this isn't just about learning, it's about action. It's about uncovering the gifts within you that are waiting to be used for something far greater than yourself. This journey is one of transformation, of stepping into the purpose God has set before you. If this message resonates with you, if you feel even a spark of recognition in your heart, then I invite you to join this conversation actively. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story matters, your voice matters. Together, we're building a community of believers who are seeking God's truth, uncovering their gifts, and supporting one another in faith. So, let's begin. Could today be the day you take the first step into your divine calling? Could this be the moment where everything changes? Not just for you, but for those you are meant to guide and protect. Let's find out together. This is your invitation to step into the extraordinary. Will you answer the call? The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation. Psalm 18:2. This powerful scripture paints a vivid picture of God as our protector, guide, and source of strength. It reminds us that throughout history, He has chosen individuals to embody these qualities, equipping them to guide others with wisdom, shield them in times of danger, and reveal His presence in moments of uncertainty. These chosen ones were not perfect, nor were they always prepared, but they answered God's call and became instruments of His divine plan. Consider Joseph, who rose from the depths of betrayal and imprisonment to a position of great authority in Egypt. By interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, Joseph foresaw 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:25-36. Through his prophetic insight, he guided Egypt to prepare, ensuring the survival of countless lives, including his own family. Joseph's story shows us how God equips His chosen ones with wisdom, not only to lead, but also to protect those entrusted to their care. Now think of Miriam, the prophetess who stood alongside her brothers, Moses and Aaron, during the Exodus. After God delivered the Israelites from Egypt by parting the Red Sea, Miriam led the women of Israel in a song of praise and celebration. Exodus chapter 15, 20-21. Her leadership and faith brought encouragement and unity to her people, showing us that guiding others often involves inspiring them to recognize and celebrate God's presence, even in times of uncertainty. Finally, look at Elisha, whose story in 2 Kings 6, 15-17 reveals the unseen power of God's protection. When Elisha's servant was overwhelmed with fear, seeing an enemy army surrounding them, Elisha prayed for God to open his servant's eyes. What was revealed was extraordinary. A heavenly army of chariots of fire standing ready to defend them. This moment reminds us that God's guidance is always present, even when we cannot see it, and He often uses His chosen ones to help others recognize His protection. These stories are not just ancient accounts, they hold timeless truths that resonate today. What if, like Joseph, God is calling you to guide others with wisdom in times of uncertainty? What if, like Miriam, He is asking you to inspire faith and hope through your actions and words? Or what if, like Elisha, your role is to help others see the unseen hand of God in their lives? You don't need to hold a formal title or position of power to step into this calling. God's chosen ones come from all walks of life. Ordinary people entrusted with extraordinary purposes. The key is recognizing the gifts and opportunities He places before you and responding to His call with faith and obedience. Reflect on your own life for a moment. Have there been times when you felt compelled to offer guidance or reassurance to someone in need? Have you ever witnessed God's provision or protection in ways that seemed beyond coincidence? These moments might not be random. They could be God revealing His plan and inviting you to play a part in it. The roles of Joseph, Miriam, and Elisha remind us that being a guide or protector is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting in God's wisdom, relying on His strength, and being willing to act when He calls. Just as He equipped them, He is equipping you. The question is, will you say yes? Will you step into this divine role, knowing that God will be your rock, your fortress, and your deliverer every step of the way? Recognizing a prophetic calling begins not with grand revelations, but with a quiet, persistent stirring within your soul. A gentle, yet undeniable pull that beckons you to rise above the ordinary and step into a role of divine purpose. This calling is not always loud or dramatic. Often, it whispers in moments of stillness, tugging at your heart in ways you cannot ignore. It manifests as a profound sense that your life is meant to guide, protect, and uplift those around you in ways that only you can. One of the clearest signs of a prophetic calling is a deep and abiding sense of responsibility for others. It's the weight you feel when someone is lost, hurting, or in need of direction. A weight that compels you to step in, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. This isn't about a desire for control or recognition. It's about an innate, God-given drive to shepherd and protect those who are vulnerable, confused, or searching for answers. Another hallmark of a prophetic calling is experiencing moments of spiritual clarity. These are the moments when everything aligns and a path forward seems illuminated, not through your understanding, but through a wisdom that feels beyond you. It could happen during prayer, in a conversation, or even in an unexpected situation where you suddenly know what to say or do. These moments are not random. They are sacred glimpses of God's wisdom entrusted to you to bring guidance and peace to those who need it most. Equally important is a yearning to intercede for others. This is the kind of love that moves you to pray fervently for someone you barely know, to stand in the gap for those who cannot fight for themselves, or to offer protection to those who feel exposed and vulnerable. It's the embodiment of God's own heart, working through you as a vessel of His grace, mercy, and power. Consider Ruth, whose story is a testament to the prophetic power of steadfast love and unwavering faith. In the face of profound loss, Ruth chose not to abandon Naomi, her mother-in-law, but to walk beside her through the storm. Her words in Ruth 1:16-18 resound with divine conviction. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Ruth's actions were not loud or miraculous by worldly standards, yet they carried the weight of heaven. Through her loyalty and wisdom, she guided Naomi out of despair, restoring hope and laying the foundation for a lineage that would bring forth Jesus Christ. Ruth's story reveals that prophetic roles are not always about visions or dramatic proclamations. Sometimes they are lived out in the quiet, faithful choices we make to love, serve, and guide others in their time of need. Now turn inward and reflect. Have you ever felt a pull to stand in the gap for someone else? To offer comfort when they were grieving, guidance when they were lost, or protection when they were vulnerable? Maybe you found yourself praying for someone with a depth of passion you didn't know you had, or offering words of encouragement that felt as though they came from beyond you. Could these moments be whispers of God's call on your life, inviting you to step into a role you may not yet fully understand? This calling is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is found in the hearts of ordinary people who are willing to listen, act, and love with a faith that transcends fear. It is the invitation to partner with God in His work, to be His hands and feet, and to let His Spirit move through you in ways that can change lives. What if this stirring in your heart is not a fleeting thought, but a divine assignment? What if the weight you feel for others is God's way of revealing the gifts He has placed within you? The gifts of guidance, intercession, and protection. Recognizing these signs is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning. The real question is, will you trust the one who placed this calling within you to guide you every step of the way? There is power in saying yes to God's call. It unlocks not only your potential, but also the potential of those whose lives you are meant to touch. Are you ready to take that step and embrace the extraordinary role He has chosen for you? This could be the moment that changes everything. God never calls His chosen ones without also equipping them. When He places a prophetic calling on your life, He provides the tools and resources needed to carry out His purpose. These tools are not always material. They are spiritual gifts and qualities that empower you to act with divine authority, wisdom, and love. Understanding these tools helps you embrace your calling with confidence and trust in His provision. One of the most powerful tools God provides is discernment and wisdom. These qualities allow His chosen ones to see beyond the surface, to perceive truths that others might overlook. Look at Daniel's life as an example. In Daniel 2:19-23, God gave him the ability to interpret dreams that no one else could understand. His wisdom not only saved lives, but also brought glory to God in the courts of kings. Daniel's discernment wasn't just about intellect. It was a divine gift that enabled him to reveal God's plans and guide those in positions of power. Could God be cultivating the same kind of discernment in you, preparing you to speak the truth in challenging situations? Another essential tool is faith and courage. Often, the prophetic calling requires stepping into difficult or even dangerous situations. Esther exemplifies this perfectly. When her people faced annihilation, Esther didn't shrink back in fear. Instead, she embraced her role with boldness, saying, "If I perish, I perish." Esther 4:16. Her faith in God's plan gave her the courage to act, and through her bravery, an entire nation was saved. Faith and courage go hand in hand. They empower you to trust God even when the path ahead is uncertain or the stakes are high. Then there is divine insight, a gift that allows God's chosen ones to see what others cannot. Ezekiel's visions, particularly the valley of dry bones in Ezekiel 37:1-14, illustrate this beautifully. In the midst of despair and desolation, God showed Ezekiel a powerful image of renewal and hope. He didn't just see the dry bones, he saw what they could become through God's power. This kind of divine insight is a reminder that the prophetic calling is not about predicting the future. It's about understanding God's will and sharing His vision of redemption, healing, and restoration. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What gifts or insights has God already placed in you? Have you experienced moments where you were able to offer clarity, guidance, or hope to someone in need? Have you felt the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it was difficult? Have there been times when you've perceived truths that seemed hidden to others? These are not random abilities or coincidences. They are tools God is equipping you with to fulfill your purpose. But these tools require activation. Wisdom must be paired with action. Courage must be guided by faith. Insight must be shared with humility and love. The question is, are you using these gifts to guide and protect those around you? Are you willing to step into the role God is calling you to, trusting that He has already given you everything you need to succeed? God's chosen ones are not extraordinary because of who they are. They are extraordinary because of who equips them. Just as He empowered Daniel, Esther, and Ezekiel, He is ready to empower you. The tools are already in your hands. Now it's time to use them for His glory. Will you take the next step and allow Him to guide you into your prophetic calling? The impact you could make is greater than you can imagine. Responding to a prophetic call is not without its challenges. It's a path that often requires you to step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown, trusting that God will equip you as you go. The struggles you face, whether they are doubts, fears, or feelings of inadequacy, are not signs of failure, but opportunities to lean deeper into God's strength and guidance. Consider Gideon's story in Judges 6:11-16. When God called him to deliver Israel from the Midianites, Gideon's immediate reaction was one of hesitation. "But Lord," he said, "how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." Yet God's response was clear and reassuring. "I will be with you." Gideon's story reminds us that feelings of inadequacy are natural, but they don't disqualify you from God's call. Instead, they create space for His power to work through you, making His strength perfect in your weakness. Then there's John the Baptist, who faced the challenge of balancing humility with boldness. His mission was clear: to prepare the way for the Lord. In John 1:23, he declared with unwavering clarity, "I am the voice of one calling in the wilderness. Make straight the way for the Lord. John's courage to speak the truth, even in the face of opposition, came from his deep understanding of his role and his submission to God's will. His story teaches us that humility and boldness are not opposites. They are partners in the prophetic calling. So, how do you step into this role, embracing the challenges and opportunities it brings? It starts with intentionality. Dedicate time daily to prayer and scripture. In these moments, seek God's guidance and ask Him to reveal His plans for your life. Prayer is not just a way to communicate with God. It's a way to align your heart with His, to gain clarity and strength for the journey ahead. From there, take small, intentional steps. Acting on God's call doesn't always mean making grand gestures. Sometimes, it's as simple as encouraging someone who's struggling, offering wisdom in a difficult situation, or standing in support of the vulnerable. These small acts of faith build your confidence and prepare you for greater responsibilities. Finally, seek mentorship and community. Surround yourself with spiritual leaders and communities who can support and guide you. Their wisdom, experience, and prayers will be invaluable as you navigate the challenges of stepping into your calling. They can help you stay grounded in Scripture, discern God's voice, and grow in your prophetic role. Reflect on this. What is God asking of you right now? Is there a step you've been hesitant to take, or a message you've been reluctant to share? These moments of resistance are often the very places where God is calling you to grow. By taking that step, you open the door for Him to work powerfully in and through you. Stay with us, because what we'll explore next is how embracing your prophetic potential can lead to extraordinary, transformative changes, not only in your own life, but also in the lives of those God has placed in your path. The journey ahead is one of faith, courage, and immense purpose. Let's continue together. Activating your prophetic role begins with small, intentional steps. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or a grand revelation. It's about embracing the everyday opportunities God places before you to live out your calling. Here are practical ways to begin this journey and let God's purpose unfold in your life. Start a journal. Take time each day to record your dreams, insights, or moments of clarity that feel significant. These could be instances where you sense God's guidance, experience an unexpected moment of peace, or feel a nudge to act in a certain way. Writing these experiences down allows you to reflect on how God may be speaking to you and provides a space to discern patterns and purposes that might otherwise go unnoticed. Dedicate time to pray for others. Prayer is a powerful way to step into your role as a guide and protector. Ask God to reveal who needs your prayers and how you can intercede for them. These moments of focused prayer not only strengthen your connection to God, but also open your heart to the needs of those around you. Through prayer, you become a vessel for God's love, protection, and wisdom to flow into the lives of others. Act on God's nudges. Pay attention to the small, quiet promptings in your heart, whether it's offering encouragement to someone who's struggling, standing up for someone who feels overlooked, or using your unique gifts to serve. These seemingly simple acts of obedience can have a profound impact. They are often the moments where God's power works most clearly through you. As you take these steps, remember that you are not walking this path alone. Your journey is part of a greater story, one that includes countless others who are also seeking to fulfill their divine purpose. If today's message has inspired you, share it with someone who might be wrestling with their spiritual gifts. By sharing this truth, you are inviting others into the journey and strengthening the community of believers who are committed to being guides and protectors in a world that desperately needs them. Together, we can grow into the roles God has called us to fill. By taking small steps in faith, offering our gifts, and encouraging one another, we can reflect God's love and wisdom in powerful ways. You have a role to play, and it starts now. Are you ready to begin? Thank you for walking this journey with us. Your openness, your time, and your heart are what breathe life into this community. It's not just about watching or listening. It's about the connection we're building together. A connection rooted in faith, truth, and a shared desire to uncover God's purpose in our lives. Your engagement here is more than a gesture. It's a testament to your willingness to grow, to learn, and to step boldly into the calling that God has placed upon you. Your faith, even in its smallest expressions, strengthens this shared mission, whether through your reflections, your prayers, or your willingness to act on what you've heard today. You are an essential part of this journey. Together, we are creating something beautiful. A community of believers who are not only seeking God's truth, but living it out in ways that inspire and uplift one another. This isn't just a video. It's a gathering place, a sanctuary where we can come together to support and encourage each other in our spiritual walks. It's a reminder that no matter where we are in life, we are never alone. We are connected by a higher purpose, by the Spirit that moves within us and unites us in our shared calling. Your presence here matters, your story matters, and as we continue to grow together, know that every step you take toward fulfilling God's purpose strengthens not just your own journey, but also the collective faith of this community. Thank you for being here, for sharing this moment, and for contributing to something far greater than any of us could achieve alone. Today, we've journeyed through the profound truth of what it means to be one of God's chosen ones. We uncovered how He equips those He calls, providing wisdom, courage, and divine insight to guide and protect others. We explored the tools He places in our hands and the practical steps you can take to embrace this sacred role with faith and confidence. As you reflect on these truths, let the words of Joshua 1:9 resonate in your heart. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This is not just a promise, it's a foundation. No matter the challenges you face or the doubts that arise, God's presence is your constant source of strength. You are never alone. God has called you for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. He has placed gifts within you that are uniquely yours, meant to guide and protect others in ways only you can. Trust in His guidance, embrace the tools He has given you, and step boldly into your role. Each step of obedience, no matter how small, is a step toward fulfilling His divine plan. As you go forward, remember this: you are part of something extraordinary. Your journey, your faith, and your willingness to act all contribute to a greater story. A story of transformation, hope, and redemption. Trust the one who has called you and walk boldly into the purpose He has prepared for you. You are not alone. God is with you every step of the way.